Going for a 4-4-2.
He didn't know what was going on in the room.
Elias managed to refrain from swearing.
He said, if you've got a problem with me, let's sort it out in the gym.
He's actually playing the Violet. The thing is...
Oh, come on! Come on! Where has that come from?
Yeah.
They brought through the door. You know, you look at the...
What a performance, the guys...
That was ruled off. Quite stupid things like that.
Live from Style Space at the supporter squad. Right.
But he was getting a bit tired, I thought.
Come on! There we go! Come on!
Come on! Yeah! Go!
Have just come back from the best fireworks display I have saw this season. Honestly, it was probably one of the best firework displays you can imagine. I never got a chance to go in November, so I'm glad that someone gave me that. Anyway, yes, we are here. Welcome back to West Ham United for our highlights and words show. We are through to the fourth round. Doncaster await West Ham as they travel to the...
And they must be thinking, we're in here.
Oh, yeah. No. I think they're shaking in their boots, mate.
Yeah,
I think they're panicking.
They're shaking from the laughter after just watching that tonight. That's what they're shaking from.
Yes, we have just witnessed West Ham beat Stockport, just edged the game with the last 10 minutes to go, thanks to that man, the main man himself, man of the match, Craig Dawson. And he fires West Ham through to the fourth round. I'm joined by Matt and Stell. We've been doing a match day live. Thank you for joining us. Matt, try your best to give me your brief thoughts before we start to dissect the game.
The fireworks are the most entertaining thing tonight.
Brief, Matt, brief.
The fireworks are the most entertaining thing. That was it. Fireworks.
That was good. I like that. That was good. Anyway, I'm only joking. Go for it. No, go for it. Go on.
One of the guys in the chat, Long Dark, said he fell asleep twice during the game.
Yeah.
That sums up the game.
Yeah. Stell, come on. Give me something. Don't, brief.
Well, we
brief.
won. We won. We won.
Right,
that's all I could say. We won.
We're going to dissect this game then. We are absolutely going to dissect this game. West Ham starting lineup. As you saw, we went out for it. We put out a strong starting lineup. Myself and Matt done a preview last night. And to be honest with you, I could not have predicted that it was going to be that team. Matt, what was your thoughts?
Genuinely surprised, to be honest, at how many first team players were in that team. I know Moyes said he was taking a lot of the first team squad, but me and you done the preview yesterday, and I said, he'll take them, but most of the first team players will be on the bench. And admittedly, there was a couple of players we thought would start that were out with COVID or isolating, but again, there was more players on the bench that I thought would have started. There was more players that started that I thought would have been on the bench. Yeah. He went for it, Moyes. He put out almost as strong teams he could have, to be honest.
Yeah.
The performance showed it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But there's no denying, no Stell. Like first 10 minutes, it was all West Ham. I mean, you can look at the possession. I think I've added in the game stats here.
The possession was great, mate. I think just picking on the team lineup, Moyes said before the game that he don't expect too many youngsters, and yet we had 5 in the squad, which was actually quite good. But we know that now that there are 3 players out of that squad, or not even on that lineup, that have got COVID now, which has been confirmed tonight, which is Fredericks, Balbuena, and who's Diop. The other one? Diop. Fredericks, Balbuena and Diop.
That's Diop for the second time, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's why now we know that Diop's not been playing for a while. But it was a strong lineup, wasn't it? And we all thought that, and you just put, I think, the possession stats up there, mate. We all thought we were going to pulverise this team, didn't we? With the comments before in the build-up that we were going to win 3-0, 5-0, 6-0, and all that sort of stuff. And yet, despite all that possession, despite all the shots, only 2 on target.
That was the biggest issue, and I think we said
2
that in
on
the first
target.
half in particular. You know, when we're going through the game, we had a couple of chances. I think there was a chance there from Ben Rama in the first half. Matt wasn't there. I mean, he collected the ball in the 18-yard box, and there was no denying him and Lanzini did hit a little bit of form in the middle of the park. They were playing well off of each other, but the biggest problem was penetration. We couldn't penetrate their defence, and we've got to give credit where credit's due. Stockport held their lines really, really well in defence and in midfield, and we couldn't really break down their defence, could we?
But they had like sort of a bank of 4 and a bank of 5, or a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, and we couldn't. They basically said try and pass through the middle. We couldn't do it. It's looking back. It's no coincidence that we started off well when the pitch was more playable.
Yeah.
And the longer it went on, the less you saw of Lanzini and Benrahma because they just couldn't link up.
But I mean, look at that picture.
Do it.
Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, there's no ifs or buts about it. The pitch did play a massive part in tonight's game, and it shouldn't be an excuse. But obviously, we know we're not used to playing in those conditions. I don't think many teams are. But again, both teams have got to turn up and do a job. And I mean, still, when you look at those conditions that we're playing in, again, though, you've got to give credit to Stockport for keeping that threat out, mate. There was creativity in that team.
They, as we were saying, as the game wore on, they were looking more and more confident. They were looking more and more composed than us. And I think what was it, the guy that you had on the other day, or someone came on and said, all they're going to do, they're going to try and wait, keep us, contain us for 70, 80 minutes, and then try and hit us in the last 10, 15 minutes. And it almost worked for them. Yeah. It almost worked, and they looked really composed. They had to play in the same conditions as we did. People are going to go, well, they're more used to it than we are, but I don't know. I thought they were a good team. I thought they were a really good team. Yeah.
I think if anything, though, what this game did really highlight was the final third for West Ham and the problems we're going to have, especially now. We don't have a new forward. We don't have another striker. We're relying so heavily on Antonio now that we've sold Hilaire. And I mean, Matt, it was kind of non-existent performance tonight, really, wasn't it?
The only positive Antonio got out of the game was he played 89 minutes and didn't get injured. He got some match fitness. He had that one chance in the first half, and we thought he might shoot, and he got sort of overran it and got tackled. I can't remember him doing much at all in the second half, apart from sort of running about. There was a bit in the first half. He had some sort of bit of decent link-up play and stuff, but the second half he did absolutely nothing. Yeah. And I can't believe he lasted. The only benefit we got is he played 89 minutes and didn't get injured. That's it. Yeah.
And we did say, we actually did say, though, in the first half, or in general in the full game, that even though we didn't make their keeper work, but the thing is that Randolph done more things. He had more things to do, like more crosses to come out and compete for. And as Stell mentioned, with all the chances we had, we only had 2 on target, and we just didn't test their keeper at all, and that's something we should have done.
Do you remember what you said at the start? That you were really looking forward to seeing Lanzini and Benrahma play. Yeah. And there were short spells that maybe in the first half where they started to look like they might start clicking, etc. But there was no end product. And for all the skill in the world, it's great to have skill. I love skillful players. I love them. But if there's no end product, what can what's the point? But I don't want to moan, but I'm going to. Our setup wasn't right. You put skillful players on, and then you don't have the formation to actually get the best out of them. I don't want to sound miserable, but yet again, this is the thing that I have a problem with Moyes. He's got the players, he just doesn't set them up in the right way. And we didn't need to play with 2 holding midfielders, and 1 up front against Stockport. So
I think that's the biggest problem. Again, you dissect the starting lineup with West Ham and you think, right, he's going. I mean, there is only one formation at West Ham. There is only one type of player that he wants in the forward line at West Ham, and that you can't help but moan. We've won the game. We're through to the next round, but we should have convincingly done better with that starting lineup and with what we had in off the bench.
It's a good point. Is a good point. It's gone. Where is it gone? I'll find it in a minute. But someone, there we go. Lanzini and Benny need a striker that's fit, though.
Yeah, 100%.
There was,
but we
there
only
was
play
a
in one.
play-
But we
there was
only
a play
play
in
in
the
one.
first half.
Sorry, mate.
Off that comment, there was a play in the first half when Lanzini and Benrahma played a good bit of play down the left-hand side, and Benrahma wanted to slip in Antonio, and Antonio jogged over and he was about 4 yards offside, and they had to hold on to the ball, hold on to the ball. And by the time Antonio was onside again, the play was gone, and they sort of passed it back into the middle.
Yeah. We need a striker. It's all very well having a striker, having a player that Moyes wants to play as a lone striker, holding the ball up, going out on the wings and getting it and all that sort of stuff, running his arse off, etc. We also need a finisher. I reckon with a bit of luck, the Vanarama.
It's true though. And listen,
that's why we support this club, isn't it? Because we can talk seriously, and then a comment like that comes up, and we know we get it, because that's the sort of thing,
I said to Matt at the start of this Matchday Live that we did today that, credit where credit's due. We played Hull and we played Charlton in the League Cup, and they were completely different performances. And do you know what it was? It was actually, there was a different option when we were playing there. So we played to Haller's strengths. Yes, albeit we played against lower league opposition, but we played to Haller's strengths. We fed him the ball. The players were playing really confidently in the middle of the park. What happened was we went in against Everton and we crumpled and we changed things, and it just didn't work.
We changed things because we put the two slowest midfielders on the pitch.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was ever a chance of throwing a game away, it was that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put Noble and Snodgrass on, who are our slowest midfielders, against a very strong Everton team, and then we wonder why we got crushed. That was the mistake. But anyway.
Well, let's start kind of going through the players individually. I mean, Randolph, Matt, he didn't have a huge amount to do, but he did make maybe a couple of edgy decisions. Was that down to the pitch, the ball, the
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and blame it on the conditions.
Yeah.
But there was that. Yeah. I think the only one I was really worried about Randolph was that punch at a corner when he didn't jump. He seemed to think that being flat-footed and 6 foot whatever is enough anyway. And he did punch it, but he punched it like 3 foot up in the air and about 4 foot forward. Yeah. He didn't even clear the box. And I just thought, and that just really set me off. Their goalkeeper didn't have a lot to do, but obviously he conceded a goal. But when he was tested, he done well. He looked composed. Even like they were passing it out from the back, and he was passing a lot, and he looked composed. Whereas Randolph didn't look composed. I always worried when crosses came in. He dealt with them well, but that sort of offset me. That one mistake that could have been very Roberto-esque.
And there was nothing really wrong with the centre-half pairing. I thought they performed really well. But, listen, it's tough to give massive amount of credit when we're playing such lower league. And we pressed so much in the game, but just couldn't penetrate their defence. But we've got to give credit where credit's due. Big man went up front, and he bagged himself a goal. A well-deserved goal. Craig Dawson. Stell, your man of the moment. What's your thoughts on him?
No, it's proven us all wrong, isn't he? How many clean sheets has he had now when he started? Is that his third or fourth clean sheet?
I think it's
something like that.
Third
clean sheet.
He started,
and he scored us the match winner.
Yeah.
I always say it that I'm always glad to be proved wrong by a West Ham player. And I gave him. I didn't think we would see Dawson playing in anything but the cup games, but yet he's playing well in the Premier League. And now he's our match winner in the cup. Long may it rain, But we should have been, lads. We should have been well clear, well before. What was that? 79th, 80th minute or something like that he scored that goal.
That, mate. Like 83rd minute or something.
83rd minute. We should have been 3 or 4-0 up by then. But anyway.
Sufal and Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson struggled really, didn't he? What was your thoughts, still?
I don't. No, I'm not sure that he did. I don't know. I was incredulous when as you saw when we made our third sub, it was still 0-0, and he went and brought on Creswell for Johnson. I thought Johnson was all right. I don't think he was that tested, but I might be wrong. And I know Matt said, well, he's brought he's brought Creswell on so Creswell can cross the ball in and get the ball in the box, but that didn't happen, did it?
No.
Because they were quite composed and they knew exactly what was going to happen with Creswell, and they didn't give him the opportunity to cross the ball. And so it kind of felt like a stupid substitution to me. The player I was calling, we were all calling out for, get Odebeko on. Let's see what the young lad can do. And give him 10, 15 minutes to sort of see maybe if he's a sort of player that is going to start competing for that lone striker slot. But what happens? Typical Moyes. He gave him so much time on the pitch, he must have shit himself. 90 seconds on the pitch. Or no, I'll tell a lie. He gave him a minute plus the other 4 minutes added time. 5 minutes in total.
5 minutes in total. Moving further up the field, Yarmolenko started. He had Mark Noble, Declan Rice, Lanzini and Ben Rama in that kind of 5-man midfield. Matt, talk to me.
I said Noble would start, but he shouldn't have started alongside Rice. Like Stell said, there was literally zero logic in playing two hold midfielders against Stockport County. It just wasn't needed. Noble didn't have a bad game. He had a noble game, is the way I'd say it. You know what you're going to get. You know what he does. But he's not going to break down the defence, is he? I would have rather started... Right, I'd rather started... I would have started Noble, but I'd rather started Lanzini alongside him. I've said this for a long time now, that Yarmolenko's not a starter. And he just proved it again. He had a good first 10, 15 minutes and then was uneventful for the rest of the time he was on the pitch. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bowen didn't exactly play well either, but he still put some decent balls in.
Yep.
Lanzini didn't really do much before he came off. He again, at the start, he had some good link-ups with Ben Rama in the first 10, 15 minutes, and then they both sort of disappeared. Ben Rama was unlucky hitting the post. He was trying, but I don't know if they didn't fancy the conditions, but none of the three of them exactly lit up the game.
I tell you what, though, then, Matt, on the basis of not this comment, it's this comment here from what Foshizi says, Toby, if they had fans in, we'd have probably lost that, mate. Do you think we would have?
Yeah.
It's a fair
I don't know if we... I don't know if we...
15 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because
I don't think it... But I don't think it's as bad as what a lot of people are making out. It's disappointing that we've not... I think we had high expectations for the game. And there's a lot of comments coming in there saying, do you know what, we got the result in bad conditions. It's time to move on. And it's typical West Ham, I don't want to get carried away with it, but we have got Doncaster next. There's an opportunity to change it up a little bit at home on a better pitch and spread the game a little bit more. I mean, it was a tighter pitch. There's no ifs or buts about it. It was a tighter pitch. We could see that. And we could see that the players were struggling with it. But we do need other options. There's no ifs or buts about it. We need other options up front. And I think my fear goes back to the fact that we rely heavily on one position and one position only. And that is one formation and one formation only. Yeah. And that is relying heavily again on Antonio. And we're doing it now in the cup.
This is it, though, mate. This is it. It's like, this is the frustrating thing about Moyes that we've all talked about. It's all very well that he discards players because they don't play to his strength, to his formation. But a good manager will be able to change it up. And we played Stockport tonight. We did not play Liverpool, where we had to have two midfield, holding midfielders and all that sort of stuff. We played Stockport. And yet he went with the same formation again. And I know people are going to say, well, we don't have the players. We had Odebeko. Even give him half an hour or half, 45 minutes to see what he might have been capable on.
I think that part does confuse me, though, is when we are kind of looking for other options. Why not give a player a bit longer run out, especially when we're looking for another option as well? But again, I've got to give credit where credit's due. Stockport had two players in the middle of the park that when they did have the ball, that they were playing really well. I think it was Jennings, was it? Jennings, yeah, and John Rooney. Every time they got the ball, Matt, they kind of sprayed the ball around a little bit. They really calmed things down. And as we had when we had Chris on yesterday in the preview, he said Stockport were going to come into this game and play football, and they weren't going to hack down West Ham. And fair play to them, they played the ball from the back as many times as they possibly can. I mean, nearly at one point, Mark Noble tackled the player to try and put the ball in the back of the net, but that's how much they were so convincing in playing the ball from the back, and they looked decent playing from the back. And you could see you could see that they were starting to slop. You could see that their fitness levels weren't where West Ham fitness levels were. But credit where credit's due again to Jim Ganning and what he's done at Stockport, because they are playing well, and they didn't really look. We've played. I feel like we've played worse teams, if I'm being honest.
Well, we played, was it Hull and Charlton in the League Cup, and they put in worse performances than that.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to them. That was the level that they performed above.
Yeah.
You know, and they did. Like you said, it was only really the last maybe 5 minutes when their legs really went that they then started struggling more.
Yeah.
And in face of them, they played the ball out from the back, didn't expect it. They kept it on the ground. They didn't make many fouls. Fair play to them. They gave us a goal. You know, even defence, they showed you how to defend properly. They were deep. They were compact. They had their two lines. We couldn't break them down.
Yeah.
They out tactic Moyes. They said, "We know what you're going to do. We can do is stop you doing it, and then we're still going to play our football on the counter."
Here's the irony. Yeah, exactly that. The irony is, Moyes started to think about pumping the ball up. You know, starting to sort of look at, you know, as you said, Matt, getting Creswell on to try and pump the ball in, and yet Stockport throughout the whole game were going, "We're going to play our game." You know, they were trying to sort of play football. You know, and they would have been more than credit. You know, it would have been more than credit to them if they'd got a goal back. You know, because they tried to play it the right way. You know, all credit to them completely.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Well, I mean, listen, we've run out 1-0 victors on this game. We're through to the fourth round. Do we really need to? Should we keep going on? Do we want to keep going on about it, or do we just save this for another show?
It was a typical sort of West Ham Cup performance, which could have gone against us. And the frustrating thing for me, the big telling thing is, we are light on our squad. Moyes still doesn't trust the youngsters. Otherwise, he would have given one or two of them a run out. Certainly Odebeko. If we do not get another striker in, Antonio looks shot. I'm worried about him for Saturday, for the Burnley game. I really am, because he's already had. The whole squad has already had 10 days off, so it's not as if Antonio has been run off his feet. He looked really. He didn't look fit, did he? Just didn't look fit, and that really worries me. So if we're not going to go out and buy any players or get any players in on loan before the weekend, I think we're going to struggle to score any goals. You know, in the second half of this season, and there is talk that we may not get a striker. So why didn't he give Odebeko 20 minutes to really see what it was all about? You know, and then we might have not worried so much.
I think he's a little bit. I mean, listen, again, it's going back to that whole kind of Moyes conversation. I mean, we're sitting where we are in the league, performing really well at the start of the season, and we're still here saying that we've got a stubborn manager, and he is stubborn. We do know he's stubborn. He's extremely stubborn, and yeah. I don't know.
I think I said it to Matt as we were coming off the last show. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the second half of the season, and it's going to be quite telling of the manager and the board. If we do not get any players in this window, probably the decision's been made that we only need to win 5 more games to stay in the league, to get to that magic 40 points, and that's a gamble. And if we don't buy any players, maybe the board and the manager have already made that sort of agreement that, don't worry, we're safe. We've got 26 points on the board. We've got 22 games left. We're bound to scrape 5 wins out of that, and maybe we won't buy anyone and just scrape through the season. And that's why Moyes was talking about playing a number 9 and a false number 9. But we don't even have enough players in the squad to even do that. So,
well,
I don't know. I guess it could be worse. We could be in a relegation battle and out of the cup.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really have a huge amount more to say. I think this could be the shortest review we've done. Highlights and Words review show we've done. We're through to the next round. I mean, I'll take that. I just want a better performance for the game against Doncaster, to be honest. And but we move on now to the Premier League, and I'm quite glad the Premier League's back. I just hope it stays back and it doesn't get cancelled or whatever, you know.
Look at that comment. Antonio didn't look good tonight. I think the lone striker role is taking its toll on him.
Of course it is.
Well, he's been out injured twice because of it, because he's pulled his hamstring twice. So you're absolutely right, English Yardie.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
a good point, though, here. What Lee says. We can beat anyone on our day.
Yeah, and we can lose against anyone on our day too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, let's round it off. I mean, I'm happy to round it off. Look at Matt, he's struggling. I've already been sleeping during that show tonight, so during the match day live. Still, you're getting told to go and watch the telly, have a cup of tea.
Well, there's something on that looks interesting, so
yeah.
Well, at least I don't do a Sean Whetstone and watch a game instead, and watch a film instead of a game. At least I wait until the end of the game.
Game's done, yeah. Well, listen, West Ham, David Moyes, he's turned up, he's done a job, he's got West Ham through to the next round, he's won another game, he's got another clean sheet. It doesn't matter against his opposition. Maybe he doesn't look at that. Maybe he doesn't look at the fact that the opposition are where they are. Maybe he just sets up and he goes, do you know what, I know how to win games and I'm going to win these games and this is how I'm going to do it. And as Alf said, he's a tactical mastermind genius and he's done it. But anyway, that's just what happens. We're through to the fourth round. Doncaster up next, and into the Premier League we go. And yeah, any last comments you want to make?
Yeah, thanks for the people who donated, who gave money last night. I'm sorry I didn't see the comments, but I appreciate that. But I've been told that apparently it's not going towards any hoodies. So you need to speak to the merchandising manager, Anton.
He's totally
that.
away with the fairies, lads. He is totally away with the fairies. Listen, what day's today? I don't even know what day today is. Monday. We
Thursday.
have. I think there's going to be a couple of transfer shows coming out this week, and then we've got a preview on Friday for the game on Saturday.
I love it that we talk about transfer shows, and then in the same breath we say we may not buy anyone.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. People are asking how do they come on the basis of what was getting said on Still's show, West Ham Weekly, last night. I don't know. We're up for trying something, but we need to know that people want to come on and be guests on it. If they do, it could be like a phone-in type show. I know the other channels do it, but we only want to do it if people are willing to try it, and we're willing to give it a shot. We'll see. So, if you do, just contact us on an email or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Anyway, like I said, we're through to the next round. Subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and the comments. And you can see Stell's under the thumb, and he's got to go. So we're going to head.
No, it's all right. I've got a perfectly amicable understanding with the other half here. She just wants a chocolate.
All right, there you go. Well, listen, Stell, I'll make it all a little bit easier for you. I've been Anton. He's Matt. He's Stell. This is West Ham United. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and come on, you Irons. Fourth round, here we come. FA Cup run, here we come.